Do I want a cup of tea? Nah. So hi, howdy, hello, and welcome to the first in a series of videos I'm going to put together giving you maybe advice or tips on basically what it is to be a writer. I should say before we start that what I'm going to talk to you about in these videos is very personal to me and very specific to me in the way I write and the way I go about it and my process. Now this is going to be something unique to all of you writers out there, so really all I want to do is advise you and maybe encourage you to find exactly what it is that makes you most comfortable when it comes to writing. I've talked about this previously in blog posts and in videos, specifically when I'm talking about fanfiction, but writing is art, and as such it's something that you put yourself into wholeheartedly, and as a result a tiny little bit of you ends up in that. So sometimes it can be scary putting your work out into the world, because who knows how people are going to react, and sometimes it can be a lot more personal than people think it can be. Writing can cover a whole span of dedication. 3 years ago, I wanted to be a psychologist. I was dead set on doing my psychology A-level and going and doing a psychology degree. And now look where I am. So for any of you that actually don't know where I am, if you don't follow me or my blog or these videos, in September I started a creative writing A-level. So I guess I am gonna take what it is I learned from that and kind of give it to you in a much less academic sense. Writing can be anything from a hobby that you do in your spare time, or when you're on holiday, or when you're lying in bed and you can't sleep, to something that takes up 110% of your time. And I say 110% because a lot of the time you're writing and you don't even realise it. That might not make sense, but what I'm talking about is sometimes you hear something or you see something and it'll light a spark somewhere in you and you don't even realise you're plotting or you're thinking up a scenario. That's writing. That's writing. You are thinking of an idea which will then develop into a plot or a story with characters and side plots. To use a personal example, last year in the summer I got into a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale. Boy did I not know what I was getting into. Now the nature of the podcast, it explores a lot about oblivion and eternity and space, and it's just weird and wonderful and wacky and witty and hilarious and sometimes very, very dark. But the style of the writing and the style of the podcast as a whole means that it's very easy to take things that are written and that you hear, attribute them to yourself, and then convey them in your own work. And that's exactly what I mean by writing 110% of the time. You don't realise you're doing it, but you are. Which brings me on to the main point of this video, and that is, why don't you just write? I can tell you now, 60% of writing is being scared shitless to do so, because you have this idea and it's like blowing your mind apart and you just don't know how to get it down on paper. But the moment you do, it just becomes so much easier. Writing is difficult. If writing wasn't difficult, everyone would be doing it. And to be a successful writer, I think, to be honest, the majority of the time it's just having the courage to write the first paragraph, the first word even. If you can get that first word down on that paper, or that Word document, or I don't know, some kind of memo app on your phone, then you've already done what thousands of people out there haven't. And that's a good thing. That means that you've had the courage to start something, and once you start, you know, the possibilities are endless. I mean, you could go down this path, you could go down that path. Just do it. If you hear a song that inspires you, write about it. If you read a novel that inspires you, write about it. If anything in your life, in your little world that you've created for yourself, sparks inspiration, write about it. We are lucky to be in a world currently and in an age where sharing with other people and inspiring other people and letting other people inspire us is so easy, and the world around us is so reachable now that You know, 100 years ago, people were very restricted in what they wrote about because they had a culture that they could write about, but that was it. They were very limited. We are now living in a diverse and a multicultural world that I can't even begin to describe the amount of fuel you can get as a writer out of it. So dive in and write your first word. You won't regret it. Finally, if this video inspires you to write, let me know. I will leave links to my Tumblrs below so you can come and say howdy and let me know how you're getting on, because there is literally no point to me doing these videos if they don't actually get a response. Remember, everybody on this planet sees the world differently. So if you have worries about originality or, you know, ingenuity, then just don't. I can guarantee you that even if your plots are the most simple, the most common plots around, there will be something in there that will interest someone, that will make someone see the world from a different point of view, and that's honestly, I think, the most magical thing about writing. Stay fabulous and I'll see you all soon.